yesterday at Make with Notion, the Notion event where many new features were announced, especially around AI. One of the main announcements has been database page level access, a way to automate access to specific pages in a database. So after the keynote, I was speaking with Mike, who is a partner at a real estate company with many clients and many contractors. And he was talking about how he wants to share specific portals or dashboards with his contractors and with his clients to automatically give them access to their projects and their tasks without showing all of the other tasks and projects for the other clients. So the new page level access on databases unlocks the possibility for this use case. And in this video, I'm explaining how we can use this new feature to create a portal or any other use case where you require a centralized data source and specific access for people to a part of that data source in linked views on dashboards and other pages across your workspace. In this demo, we want to create dashboards. Let's say we have a database that is called Client Portal Demo, and this database is composed of multiple data sources. Data sources are tables. There is clients, people. This can be contractors, can be clients, internal people in the team, projects. These are the initiatives that we work on for clients, and tasks, the specific action items to complete projects. In our ideal scenario, when I look at a contractor page, for example, Test Simo, when I open this page, I can easily share access with the contractor, and the contractor can only see their projects and their tasks and nothing else in the overall database or other data sources. To achieve this in an automated way, I use the new page level access rules. When I click on the share menu at the top right on any database, I can see here the page level access rules. If the database is composed of multiple data sources, I can select each data source to apply specific rules on each data source. So you can understand that page level access is specific to a data source as opposed to an entire database. In my case, I want to set projects to have a rule where if someone is mentioned in the visible to property, then they can edit, comment, or view. In my case, they can edit that project. So I'm going to create this rule right here. I will then set a rule on tasks where when someone is mentioned in the visible to user property, they can edit their tasks. So you can see a commonality here. Page level access works with person type properties. A person type property is this one in Notion. When you create a new property, one of the options is person. And this allows you to select users in your workspace. Users in your workspace can be paid members, which you can find from the settings menu people, or they can be free guests who are added on each specific database or page, and they do not have access to the whole workspace and team spaces and Notion AI. In addition to people property, we can also use created by as a property to specify who to give access on any specific page. Created by is automatic. That's the user that creates the page in the database, and it can't be changed manually. So I've set up the data source rule. Now let's go to the people database, and let's take Test Simo as an example here. If I open this page, I can see there is my projects and my tasks. These are all the projects and tasks where this user is mentioned. So if I open this page, I can invite the user to their dashboard regularly, the old way. So this is nothing new, okay? In here, I'm going to type the email of the user. I will select the user. If there is an account already, select the access level, include a message optionally, and I will then invite the person. I can skip for now if I want to keep them as a free guest. Otherwise, I can upgrade to a paid member. Now I can see that guest has access to the dashboard. Now at the top here, just for organization purposes, I can select the user so that we know that this user was invited to Notion as a user. And in this example, I can also change here the filters to visible by contains this user, or project lead contains Test Simo. And same for my tasks here, I'm going to set the rule to be including that specific user here. And this could be automated. This is a simple way to show you how this works practically. Now let's go to the source database here. And if you go to tasks, I want to assign some tasks to that user. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to assign this. Let's do that. And maybe also some projects here. Let's do this. Warehouse expansion and lobby renovation. This could be visible to Test Simo and visible to Test Simo. Now the visible to property is merely one of the many ways that we can apply the new page level access. So keep that in mind. The only requirement is to use a person type property. But how you do it, how you populate it, if you use one or multiple properties, that doesn't really matter. And it depends on your specific preferences and use case. Now I will log in as Test Simo and show you what I see in my Notion workspace. First, you will notice how as Test Simo, I received an email invitation to Notion. I can accept the invite from here, or when I open my Notion workspace, I will see a notification in the inbox to join that workspace. As Test Simo, here I'm on my personal workspace. I can see the notification here at the top. When I open it, I can see I'm a guest on Simone's workspace, and there's a notification right there. So I'm going to open that workspace. Here are some news from Notion, which I don't care about. And I can see here in the inbox, there have been a few mentioned. I can mark them as read. I can directly access the page from here if I wish. So I see my personal dashboard. I can't see the company that's related to because I don't have access to that page. I can see notes, role, and the user. And then I can see my projects and my tasks on my dashboard directly. If I open the data source, you can see I do not have access to it. So I have no way to navigate to that. Same thing for tasks. I open tasks, no access to it. But if I open a task page, then I can edit here because we set a rule for editing access. I can set the due date, for example. Here I can write page content. I can tag people as well and conversate with them. I can update the status, open the project directly from here and see all the project data and then tasks that will be embedded down here. In this demo, there is no view, but that would be automated via a template, for example. And you can see that as Test Simo, the contractor, on the sidebar, I can only see my dashboard and nothing else. So only the pages where I'm invited from the share menu regularly as a user, not via the new page level access. Instead, as the workspace owner or admin or member, I can see everything. So if I go to the data source, I can see all the data. I can see the assignee, the status, what's going on. I can interact with my teammate in here, and I can also change the page level access. Notice how by default, when we assign someone to a person property like assignee or visible to, they get a notification. If we want to change that, we can go to edit property, notifications, none. And this makes the inbox less cluttered because it can become very cluttered over time with all dimensions, especially in people property, and especially if you have lots of data in Notion. As you saw in person property types, we can also mention groups. Groups are containers for workspace members. Workspace members are paid. So on the settings of the Notion workspace, if you are a workspace owner, you can go to people and then groups, where you can create groups. For example, this could be groups can be used for teams when you want to mention a specific team on an entire project. Instead of selecting each user, you can create a group and then all the people in that group will be included automatically in the notification or in the updates and the responsibility of that project over time. Or it could be a group for your client users if you invite them as workspace members. But you can see here, if I look at the group option, if I set up a group, for example, let's say marketing, here I can set an icon and then I can add members. And you can see when I add members, I can only select workspace members. These are paid users. If I type Test Simo, which is the guest user that I used in this demo, I can't add this user because Test Simo is a guest, a free guest in the Notion workspace that only has access to a few selected pages as opposed to the entire workspace. If I wish to see all the guests across my entire workspace, I can go to the guest section and I can see all the pages that they have access to. I can also revoke access directly from here easily by removing that person from the workspace. Last two things worth mentioning. First, page level access is only available on the business and enterprise plans right now. Second, as Test Simo, I only have access via a page level access, as I showed you throughout this video. And that means that despite I have editing access to those pages, I can't create new pages in these databases from the database. To create new pages, I would need a form. So this means that as an admin, I can create a form view either on the database or anywhere else on your workspace. Form is a view in Notion, so you just do form. And then let's say I want to create a tasks intake form. We select the data source, in this case, tasks. And I can already create questions. I can give the form a title, etc., etc. And then I can share the form. Here I can customize it further. And I can share the form via the button, allowing anyone or only workspace members. That's something that you decide. Then you might copy the link to the form and use that link on the dashboard. So on each personal dashboard, on the template I would create here so that it applies automatically for everyone new. When you want to apply the template, I could include, for example, a button maybe at the top like so, and that would be a button that says create a task, and then the action would be open page, form, or URL. I can paste the link right there in the URL field and then select the end the task form And then I can select if I want to open in side pick, center pick, full page. Center pick looks good. I will do all right. And now I am on my test CMO dashboard here. I can see the button, create a task. If I click on it, it opens the form, which I can fill out and submit. And I will see my task here within my dashboard. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you want to work together, click the link below to reach out to me. But you can also find my templates and guides, most of which are free. See you in the next one.